Hey friends, my name is Kat.
And I'm Emily. We're both agents at Keller Williams Greater Seattle. And today we're taking you on tour through
Yeah,
Edmonds.
which is great. Episode has been a long time coming. My friend Emily lives in this town and knows all the nooks and crannies. And there's just some really distinct features that we absolutely must talk about to tell you about Edmonds.
It's more than just a small town, it's a destination. It's where people get to vacation and live full time.
Yeah, there's definitely some quaint features that are just probably a little too subtle to find on an online search. So we are going to take you through those big points and make sure you get to see all the things.
So follow along with us as we drive you through Edmonds.
Sit right down where you belong in the corner of my bar with your high heels on.
So today we're doing a deep dive into Edmonds, and we are actually standing inside of a pretty typical Edmonds house.
Yeah, this is going to be like mid-century modern-ish. I think there's definitely some things we need to talk about with what you could get for the market in Edmonds, right? There's going to be some distinct patterns of what type of inventory you can get. So we happen to be in one of those that gives a great example of what this looks like in Edmonds.
Yeah, and there you're going to notice if you go tour homes in Edmonds that the houses in the bowl are going to be distinctly different than the other houses throughout Edmonds.
Yeah, it needs to be said that there's the bowl and everything else.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bowl is really stuck on a hill, and most of those homes have views, and it's kind of centrally located around the downtown area.
Yeah, so that's where your walkability really comes in, and you're going to pay for that. I think that that has to be on the record, right?
Yeah, if you run the numbers, it's going to be about $400,000 to $500,000 more for a property in the bowl than maybe 5 minutes out of town.
Yeah, even just a 4 or 5 minute drive up the opposite direction, you'll pay a lot less for the same type of house. I will say that, but I think the value that you gain by being in that position is really hard to put a price on given the lifestyle that comes with it because that's also part of what you're buying in Edmonds.
Yeah, you're buying the lifestyle, you're buying the views,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the areas in Edmonds won't necessarily have views, but they will have much larger lots.
That's the trade-off is if you're in the bowl, you get walkability, you get kind of can we say status? Like you definitely
A little
are.
bit of status.
You're in the
Yeah.
lifestyle, there's something pristine about it. So, if we're moving up the hill, you're losing something, but you're gaining back on that, probably that lot size, which is also a great feature for home buyers. They might want that. They might have a little more value around that versus the walkability.
That we've picked out that really represent a wide range of what all Edmonds has to offer, which is kind of this mid-century modern,
Mhm.
split level,
We have to
and,
talk about the splits.
and new construction.
In new construction, yeah, I think we'll take you through, I think, those 3 really clear features of Edmunds. Again, I don't think you'll find that so well defined in an online search. I think this is an experience you can walk through and see with an agent and kind of get some of that laid out for you,
Yeah.
right? All right, so if we're talking about Edmunds, we really gotta talk about the vibe here.
Yeah, it's definitely a beach town.
Yeah, the water. The water has to be the forefront of the conversation, right?
There's a
Like
beach in town.
yeah,
Yeah.
which means you've got the ferry and
Yep.
ferry traffic that comes with it. You've also got a lot of appeal for like restaurants and kind of businesses that market to that area or use that as the centerpiece for their business model, I think. So
Yeah, I think of the ferry station as being such a vocal point of tourism because people are always coming in and out.
there you go.
So you're going to have shops and places to eat, but also activities and things
Yep.
to do.
Yeah, pretty artsy. I think Edmonds does a good job with having events for its downtown area
Yeah.
throughout the year, which is really cool. But we've also noticed a new senior center go up. So I think that's also a draw for like center of activity happening there, which is pretty sweet. They've got a nice view in there. It's really actually pretty cool.
Yeah, they utilize that space for all kinds of classes and community gatherings, and that's what Emmons is really great at. It has a way of bringing together families, singles, older people, and finding ways that we can all be together as a community.
Yeah, I love that Edmonds does that, but I also just like the level of involvement you have because you've got strong commerce here. You've also got a really active chamber, right? Like
Yes,
they're very involved.
absolutely. They've done a great job.
All of that infrastructure builds for strong school districts. It also makes for like a safe community. So there's a ton of appeal going on from not just like the architecture,
Yeah.
right? We're talking about all of the things that Edmonds offers from a vibe standpoint. So not only do you get to enjoy the water and the beach, but you also get to do it while feeling safe and walking your dog and enjoying art and other boutique style businesses along the way.
Yeah, they even have a doggy beach that you can find your neighbors
Yeah,
at
yeah,
because
you
everybody's
thought
down there.
you thought you were getting a beach, but your dog just got a beach, so
Yeah,
even the dog just got upgraded. In fact, we've seen new construction homes in this area have dog washes.
it's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think they know that people here love their pets and wanna be able to enjoy that walkability lifestyle that that certain part of Edmonds does offer.
Yeah, but once you step outside the bowl, the vibe is totally different.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about that next. So tell us what is outside the bowl as far as vibes, Emily.
So the bowl is very steep and it's got a lot of smaller streets. But once you get outside of the bowl, at least 5 minutes or so, you're looking more at a geography that's a lot flatter. People have larger lots, and you're seeing more of a neighborhood feeling and
Mhm.
less of like a town.
I'm hearing cul-de-sacs. I'm hearing much more suburban.
Sack life.
Sack life. But I'm also hearing some infrastructure change in this area as well, where you have like maybe not walkability yet, but you could probably bike to a grocery store, coffee shop. Like, so there's definitely been some
Yeah.
improvements in appealing to the families and homes that are in this area and having it be not just like an outside of the bowl, right? This is a distinct neighborhood that wants its own identity as well.
Obviously, don't we all?
That's fair. Let's talk about market features and price points.
Yeah, so there are a lot of different types of homes in Edmonds, just like anywhere in Seattle, because our city is so old. There you're going to find these older homes that have larger lots, and then you're going to find some new construction with smaller lots.
Yeah. So, like any big trade off, right? What's going to make the biggest impact to you in your lifestyle? I think that in the bowl, we're seeing older, like craftsman style, Cape Cod. So, those are going to have a little historical feel to them, I think.
Definitely, yes.
And then when you see the city develop further up the hill, what do you see?
You're seeing more of those 1950s, 60s, mid-century modern and split levels,
Oh,
which
yeah.
we are currently in
The
right
Pacific
now.
Northwest really loves the split level.
Somebody went hard on those split levels. Like they got a plan and they just ran with it. And now we have thousands of split levels.
We do. I will say that from a positive standpoint, that when you move outside the bowl, you might be able to get your hands on a single family home for about a mil. And in that inventory, you'll have a little more choice factor
Wiggle room. Yeah.
than you might have if you were to stay lower in that bowl area, right?
Mm.
Where the price points are going to be steeper and turnover is much slower because less people are wanting to leave that area.
It's super desirable. Like we said, it kind of has the prestige like some of the other places in the Seattle metro area. So if you want to be in the bowl, the best thing to do is to have an agent who's got her eye on the prize.
Yeah, I think the bull sale is going to happen when you have an agent who is literally daily, weekly in homes in that area because like for myself in the neighborhood I'm showing in, houses go under contract before the weekend because people are watching price points, people are watching neighborhoods. Edmonds in the bowl is no different than that. So I think that's really where you're going to win that slam dunk sale, but you also have to be ready to compete. And I think if you're moving outside the bowl, the competition factor changes a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to get a much more buttoned up product.
There we
Your
go.
money's going to go a whole lot farther. So, I don't live in the bowl. I love Edmonds. I live right outside, which means that I don't have as much walkability. So, I am driving to my grocery store, but my kids could walk to school. We have neighborhood parks nearby. It is suburban, with the downtown being like a 5 to 7 minute drive.
Yeah, so it's a really good deal. You're getting a slam dunk on the actual like city limit that you're living in and the wonderful features that come with that. Plus you get all of those like kids walking, riding in cul-de-sacs together, like
Yeah.
all of that is super attractive for a family as well. Your listings that you're going to find outside of the bowl are going to be a lot more buttoned up. And so what that means is sellers are going to work harder to prepare that listing for sale because they have to be more attractive because
Yeah,
they're
they're
not in the bowl.
competing more, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have necessarily the same prestige, and they're going to have other folks who are putting their house on the market. I think a lot of folks like to be in Edmonds and then transition closer and closer to the bowl. That at least
Mhm.
is our goal. And sometimes that starts with a condo, sometimes it starts with a single family home, both of which Edmonds has to offer so that you can build your equity and find your way
Yeah.
into the bowl.
I love the point you just made about like if you're purchasing in the bowl, buyers are competing, but if you're selling outside the bowl, sellers are competing, right?
Mhm.
Like it's who has the hand.
Yeah.
And that one kind of changes, which makes a huge difference for strategy. Because, like, hey, if it means you can get in and then in a couple years move on and move lower or maybe more towards whatever your goal is, that's a huge win.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Emily, it's time. It's
Yeah.
it's
We got
time
to
to talk
talk.
about it. We got to talk about the elephant that is in Edmonds.
And the worst part about living in Edmonds is the commute.
Right. So you have I-5, that is your straight shot to Seattle, which is only a 14-mile drive away, but you have rush hour traffic and construction
Yeah,
often
a
happening there.
lot of construction on the I-5 corridor. So there is an option. You can take the Sounder from downtown Edmonds, and that'll drop you off right in King Station.
Yeah, so that is a win. Like not only for work commutes, but for sporting events, concerts, whatever it might be that you need to get to Seattle for. That is a nice alternative to driving and having a park and do all those things.
Yeah, and Linwood and Shoreline just opened up their Link light rail station. So there's a lot of options if you don't want to use a car, but most folks are going to need a car to get to most places.
Yeah, let's just face that fact. So then can we talk about the ferry traffic? Like am if I live in Edmonds, am I going to get stuck in a ferry line or get stuck behind a ferry line of people who are trying to get over to Kingston?
Yes and no. You know, in the peak summer hours, you're definitely going to see a line that stretches for about 2 hours long, but they're really good about keeping them to the side. So us locals know how to navigate the back roads and get around it. It's not a huge issue. I do notice though that when the ferries are heavy on tourists, you're just going to see a lot more folks in the restaurants and at the market on Sunday
Yeah.
and enjoying all the other local activities.
Okay, so one additional feature that we haven't covered just yet, as far as type of home that you'll be able to purchase in this area, would be the condo style living in the area, right?
Yeah, and we have some brand new construction, which we're standing in right now. And we definitely have some condos that were built back in the 50s and the 60s that are a lot less expensive, but probably need a little TLC.
Really nice entry point. I mean, sometimes in the 400,000s into Edmonds is huge considering most of the other single family homes we saw today were starting around 1 million, right?
Yes.
Just to be fair. So there's a big difference there on maybe who those shoppers are, but also kind of the access point, the fact that you can get in at all. And that is just a win and absolutely worth considering for a strategy.
No doubt.
Do you want to talk about the features of new construction?
Yeah, you're going to definitely see more of a taller build. Now that the zoning laws have changed in Edmonds, we can go a little bit higher. So folks are going to see more of the townhomes that go up, lots of stairs,
Mhm.
lots of hardwoods. You're going to see a lot of big windows and
I would say some neutral color palettes.
yeah,
Grays, beige, black, kind of in that really earth toned, but not really committed to a color, I would say. Like we might have seen some subtle colors today, but not a lot. Like you're not
clean.
very clean
They're
aesthetically,
clean.
super appealing to kind of a mass market. And I think, you brought up the point of growing vertically. I think we've kind of maxed out what we can do horizontally in this part of Edmonds, right?
Sure.
So now the
Yes.
next solution is like, hey, people still need to live somewhere. Let's go this way, which is I think there's 4 sets of stairs
Yeah.
in this one that we're in today. So 2 bedroom,
You'll get your steps in.
2 bedroom, all the bedrooms up there.
Think of how good your booty would look if you started climbing those stairs today by
Mhm.
summer.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I support it. I'm all about the backyard. Backyard?
we like
Back
some junk in the trunk.
Yeah, there we go. We support cakes.
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
Cakes for everybody.
Cakes for all.
Okay.
Edmonds has so much to offer,
Really. Yeah, a lot of distinct differences that we got to see today.
but I'm biased because I live here. I mean, I arrived from Colorado and drove through Edmonds and was like, oh,
It's me. I want it.
it's for me. I was built for this. This is where I belong. These are my people, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep. And so I think every viewer just needs to make their own decision. Do I want something that's going to come with prestige and can I really build in value over time? Like if I'm able to sneak into the bowl, Would I rather have something with a larger lot, a little bit outside of town? That's definitely for each family or each buyer to make on their own, right?
Yeah, and we have a vast range of prices from condos starting in the 400s to luxury properties that go
Mhm.
up to 12 million. It really is a vast range for folks to look at.
But what you're getting is lifestyle. At the end of the day, people aren't purchasing in Edmonds just because that house, because realistically, you could get this house in another zip code and it would be at a different price point, but it would also have a very different lifestyle. So the appeal there is really irresistible. You know
It
what I mean?
it is. You want to be around it. It makes you feel like you're part of something. So
Mhm.
if Edmonds looks like someplace you'd like to check out, please don't hesitate to give myself or Kat a call. We'd love to help you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Hell no.
No,
You
you
for
for
real?
real?